Hello, everybody, and welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet. And today we're going to be talking about a piece from the latest issue of Akitsu Quarterly from Curt Pawlisch with the first line of Words. Words. All right, with that said, you know what time it is. Time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a tasty beverage, and let's haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be back with you on Haiku Talk. This episode is an interesting one in that what we have here is kind of like a hybrid haiku senryu. And I say that because there is a natural element to this, which makes it a haiku, but it's also, in a way, kind of an ars poetica, which is a poem about poetry. And in that regard, it's kind of a senryu. But that's okay. I like tension in things, and sometimes things like these poems that kind of ride the fine line between haiku and senryu are fun and okay. And this one I just really like, especially since it's the beginning really of spring's full on, and we have things flowering everywhere here in the St. Louis area, in this part of the globe. And so this poem just really spoke to me. Well, let's take a look at it, shall we? It goes like this. Words are all I have. First crocus. Words are all I have. First crocus. As poets and as people, that's kind of true for us. Words are all we have. I guess more as poets. Words are all that we have to try to get across to the world, to our fellow humans, that, hey, spring's arrived. And this is a very bare stripped minimum poem to kind of get at that essence of all I have, to offer the world. To talk about the coming of the season is our words. And I'm going to boil it down to even further, to just two words. First, crocus. Because when the crocuses come up, that's how you know it's spring. The world tells us that by showing us this thing, the first crocus. But we as humans, we don't bloom the same way. We don't age the same way. We don't cycle through life in the same way that you can tell the season based on looking at us. Now, you can tell our own life season based on who we are and how we behave, but not the normal lunar or the normal calendar season. And this one just, for me, I just really enjoy it. And let's break this down. It follows the fragment and phrase format with the fragment up first, which is words are all I have, and the fragment being first crocus. So when things are flipped like that, we get a phrase, we get a kind of a concept, an idea, a scene, and then that fragment gives it its focus. And in this case, it's the natural element, the natural world that grounds the poem into the moment that makes it really work and pop. So line by line, the first line is the simple one word of words. Words. And I'm a big fan of one-word lines. And in this case, the one-word line is the word words, which is kind of fun in and of itself. And I hit that word, that line, and I'm like, boy, what do I have here? What's going on? I don't have any. It's not engaging my senses. It's not engaging my memory. I have no idea. It's abstract. And so because of that, I'm compelled to read forward. Some of you may be compelled to read on. which is fine. Not every poem hits everybody the same way. Not every poem is going to grab you. This one grabbed me because of it's in its abstraction and in the fact that it's that short first line, which propels me to read forward because I love the form and I want to know what's going on next. I want to see where the poet's taking me, what the moment is. Second line is, are all I have. Are all I have. Wow. Suddenly, I see that I have a have a phrase here, and that phrase is reading as a confessional. Words are all I have. Oof. I have no idea what's going to come next, what's going to underpin this. But right now I know the stakes are kind of high because basically by saying that words are all I have, means there's nothing else to give, nothing else that there's nothing else. And that's a high stakes phrase to me. And I am moved, I'm compelled, and I want to know more. And then I get to line 3 of First Crocus. First Crocus. And wow, okay. So I'm comparing myself to the natural world. As humans, I have this voice, I have words to express, I can jot this down, I can make note of this, but they're just words. That's it, which is a lot, obviously. As we're reading poetry, we're talking about poetry, it's one of the things that we as humans do. We have the ability to have language to contextualize and talk about the world that we live in and share in this, what I call the great conversation that we have with ourselves from the earliest days around campfires to today's date where we're looking at each other, watching things beamed across the world through any number of different ways, to bring this into your living room or your phone, in your taxi cab, in your commute to work or wherever you're watching this. And through those words, we have this connection. We have this way of bonding as humans. And all we have is the way we can communicate with each other. Whereas the world itself is absent of that language. But it shows us. It shows us through things like the first crocus, what's happening, what it's about. I mean, yeah, this is just an elemental poem that gets to the heart of writing, the heart of the creative impulse, the heart of why we communicate together, and both the strength and the humbleness that it gives us as a species. The strength in that we can communicate, we can pass along information, pass along this experience of what it's like to be alive, but also humbled because we still are, as noble as we and powerful as we like to think of ourselves being, we are still limited to our own facilities, our own abilities as humans. There are things we can't hear, things on the spectrum we can't see, things that are around us that other types of entities can experience that we can't. We have language. We have words. And for that, I give you First Crocus. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope all is well in your world. If you like this episode, think about subscribing if you haven't already. And if you liked and subscribed, ring the bell to get notified when new episodes drop. And with that, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.